Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is November the 23rd, 2025. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Hopefully you've been having a good Sunday. Hopefully it's been a fun day. As for me and mine, it's been good. Solid day. We'll say we had a bit of trial, bit of tribulation, but it was a good night and a good weekend. But yeah, we'll go ahead and just break it down. How did it go? What do we do? So after the podcast, got myself together, went ahead and went to Northside. It was nice, as always, to see the friends, see the homies. We went out and we got some food for starters. So we went to Chameleon, got some pizza, and I did 3 slices of pizza plus the fries. I've been on my fatty fat shit lately. At least when I've been going down to the city. And I can't even really tell you the slices of pizza this time in terms of the details. I know the Bianca had some kind of, I might be getting this completely off base, some kind of cremalini. I think I'm making that up. I don't know. A bunch of other ingredients on it that wound up being pretty good. Then the veggie had a lot of greens on it, which is, standard, which worked out for me. Very yummy. And then had a pepperoni slice. And then the order of Cajun fries. I've just been like, I just want a fry craze. So every week I want that with the pizza. So yeah, we had that. And then, let's see, we segued over to Tavern. We're hanging out. More people kind of came out, which was nice. One homie, she came through and she had some canes that she was eating. And she pretty much finished like everything, but there was like maybe a tender left and some fries. And she gave that to the gang and we just split it up like a pack of hyenas. And that was yummy. But at that point, I realized like, my stomach's starting to make a turn for the worst. And I was just like, it's okay though. We're just going to be, aware of this and hopefully it's not going to ruin the night. Let's just keep hanging out, keep partying on. So that's what we did. We wound up going to Last Bar, the old Junkers. We're hanging out, we're kicking it. It was a vibe. It was nice. I will say, I didn't highlight the one last week because I've been trying not to make hay of these things. You just let it happen. You do better. And if I feel justified in doing it, then guess what? I don't really feel bad about doing it. So, y'all know I've been crashing out. I've been known to crash out. I've been prone to a crash out or two. If you know me, that's just like part of my thing. It's kind of an ability. But I'm trying not to do it. I was literally talking to a friend earlier in the night, like, I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to be better. I don't want to do that. And I just had a moment where I just felt like I was being pressed. And this one was worth mentioning to me because it's one of those things where it's a closer friend. I think if you're someone who is more on the fringe of my network or friend circle, whatever, and, you pop fresh and I make a sport of it, like, okay, sorry you did that to yourself. I don't feel bad, but it's different when it's someone who's close to me, who I know cares about me. So I have to like get very introspective after that and go, well, damn, did I go too hard? Did I do too much? But also I'm like, why was I put in that situation? So these are the things. I'm not really like too mad after the fact. Overall, it was all good. And I do love that about my friends. Like we do love each other. We do care about each other. Sometimes, we just play the dozens and that's fine. That's cute. I try. And I think that's maybe because I'm of that, and I do have my mom's tongue, which I'm thankful for, honestly. I can just pop off. I can just say some shit and, it's not anything to me. And for maybe some of my friends and people around me, they have the same kind of way about them. So it's just figuring that out. It's just parsing that out. But, it's all good. Like I said, it's all good. We was drinking. We was having a good time. Anyway, post that. We rally back at HQ. We're chilling now. It's pretty late. The There was some cabbage that was made. I did not partake. Once again, my stomach was teeter-totter, teeter-totter. And so many things were being offered to me. The temptations were so real. Dumplings were offered as well. I was like almost ready to say yes. I think ramen at one point. I was like, no, 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 please. And what got me to say yes was a really nice piece of bread. It was so good. With the butter. And yeah, homie got me with that one. And we're just chilling. We're watching some wrestling. It was really good. I'm catching up. I gotta say, I'm digging the storylines up into war games. War games. That's a whole other thing. You hit me up. We can talk about wrestling. But it just, at that point, after the bread, that was like the feather on the shit pile in my stomach, and I was just like, oh no, I'm about to lose control. And had to use the facility. And then after that, we were like, okay, just kind of wrapped up the wrestling stuff. We're going to bed. Everyone's going to sleep. And I'm like, all right, let's try to get some sleep. My stomach is still not feeling great, but, I'll figure that out tomorrow when I get home, all that, yada. An hour passes. I wake up. I'm not okay. And my stomach is just wilding out. And I'm like, no, not here, not now, please no. And, proceed to have to handle that, tend to that. And I'm just like wondering, I'm like, so what does this mean for my Sunday? Because like at this point, that's where we're at, And I'm like, I don't know, but we're just going to try to go back to sleep and then we'll see how I'm feeling. So that's what I do. I wake up still feeling pretty rough. It's later in the morning than I'm used to. And I'm like, oh, crap, whatever, fine. So, I get myself together and I go ahead and say, hey, I think I'm feeling okay enough. Let's just go knock out groceries on the way home, as opposed to just going home and just trying to pass out, because I don't even know how that's going to go. And it's just, I don't want to have to do groceries later in this state. I don't feel the greatest at this point in the morning. And so I go to Kroger, the old Kroger, and a lot better of a grocery run than last week. I'll take it. No spilled rice everywhere. I'm pretty sure that's what happened last week. Oh, so annoying. But, still expensive though. Still love that for me. Paying, north of $80 every time I go to the grocery store now. That's so fun. It's so exhilarating. But we got in and out of there, which was nice. Then I got home and, I put everything up. I did like a little bit of gaming, just playing little card games. And I'm thinking like, well, I'm not tired yet. Like I figured maybe I would be tired by now. I think it was around like 10:30 or so. I'm like, I'm just going to go ahead and get ready to go to the gym and maybe just not do the hardest workout. And we'll call that a gym session. And maybe we'll see how I'm feeling when I get back home. Maybe I'll be tuckered out, or at least I'll know where I'm at situationally with my stomach, because I'm still not 100% certain on that. Everything was good post, the early morning, like, oh, I'm going crazy. It's getting loose. But, after that, I was seemingly fine, but I wasn't 100% sure. I hadn't eaten anything. So I'm like, hey, let's just go to the gym. Let's do it. So I do it, and I get to the gym. Overall, it was not busy, which we love. And all my machines were open and accessible to me. I essentially do a heavy workout sets, just not at the max. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. That'll do, pig. And I'm referencing myself. I mean, if you know from Babe, I don't know. I'm not trying to be problematic. I'm not trying to Donald Trump on the beat. But no, got through the workout. Good cardio as well. So it was a W workout session. We'll take it. Then we get back home, and I decide that I'm tired now. I'm gonna go ahead and take a little nap, and I get a nap in, and more or less that's where we are now as of recording this. Throughout the day, I kind of looked at the news, and I know I said at the top of the weekend, like, oh, I got so much to cover, so much to talk about. And in my head, I was saying to myself, I should just say like, there should be an edit when I get to the weekend or the end of the weekend. And I'm like, there's just not actually that much, or at least not much I wanted to talk about. So, I mean, because that has come to pass, which is essentially why I just wanted. I was like, you know what? Let's just take that nap. Let's take it slow. I'll go ahead and get the news in. Hopefully, I'll see a little bit more action. Of course, when I say that, I'm not saying that to say I'm rooting for things to happen around the world, because usually when I'm coming to you with a news story, it's usually not great. It's usually not good. But I like to see what's shaking and hopefully give you a fuller report. Of what I wanted to yap about either for the weekend, for that block of time, that day, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so I did get a few stories that I wanted to cover. It's a bit of offbeat episode situation. So yeah, let's go ahead and do the startup and let's get into some news. I also want to say shout out to all my friends. Shout out to all the homies out there. I feel like we are all kinda in some way, shape, or form going through it, and that's life. But I'm really happy and proud of my friends for making their shit happen. In one way, shape, or form, we have some kind of struggle, some kind of opposition, some kind of obstacle, but we always fucking make it through. We always fucking make it work. And, I love that for my group, my gang. And, I don't know, I just wanted to use my little platform to say, I love you guys and I'm rooting for y'all. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Smooches on all y'all foreheads. Anyway. And then obviously, same thing for my family. They working hard. They doing the most. I'm proud of them. I love them very much. Ooh. Ooh la la. All right. Our first story comes from CNN. Israel says Hezbollah chief of staff killed in first strike on Beirut in months. The Israeli military says it killed Hezbollah's second most senior figure in the first airstrikes in months on southern Beirut. The Israel Defense Forces, or the IDF, called Haytham Ali Tabatabai, Hezbollah's chief of staff, a key operative and veteran in the terrorist organization. The strike was intended to prevent the organization from further strengthening its capabilities and to deliver a precise blow to those who attempt to harm the state of Israel, said IDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Eyal Zamir in a statement after the attack. Hezbollah said the killing of Tabatabai was a treacherous Israeli attack on the Herat Harik neighborhood in Beirut's southern suburbs, according to a statement Sunday. 5 people were killed and 28 were injured in the attack, according to the Lebanese health ministry. Images from the scene showed smoke coming forth, or coming from the 4th or 5th floor of an apartment building in a crowded part of southern Beirut. Excuse me. The office of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the IDF had struck in the heart of Beirut, targeting Hezbollah's chief of staff, who led the organization's build-up and armament efforts. It's really cool, I guess, to see Israel do this when there's supposed to be a ceasefire. Like, nah, we don't really care about that. Like, yes, we've had this long-standing thing, but because you guys are still operating, you guys have not fully disarmed, yada yada. Insert reason here. We are allowed to do this level of aggression. And, because we're saying, hey, we got you, Mr. Terrorist. Well, all these killings that we just did in this moment right here, totally justified, totally fine. We're not going to really even say sorry for it. And the beat goes fucking on. Not that this is the only story or the only, war crime or atrocity going on being committed by Israel. I'm going to move on to our next story from Reuters. I don't know why I said this so funny. Israeli airstrikes kill at least 20 people in Gaza, medics say. Israeli airstrikes in Gaza killed at least 20 people and wounded more than 80 local health authorities said local health authorities said on Saturday, in a further test of a fragile ceasefire between the Palestinian militant group Hamas and Israel. Witnesses and medics said the first attack hit a car in a densely populated Rimal neighborhood, setting it ablaze. It was not immediately clear whether the 5 dead were passengers of the car or included nearby. Dozens of people rushed to extinguish the fire and rescue the victims. Shortly after the attack on the car, the Israeli Air Force carried out 2 separate airstrikes on 2 houses in Deir al-Bala city in Nusrat camp in the central Gaza Strip, killing at least 10 people and wounding several others, medics said. Later on Saturday, a new Israeli airstrike on a house in western Gaza City killed at least 5 Palestinians and wounded others, medics said, taking Saturday's death toll to at least 20. So yeah, I mean, they're more or less just allowed to do this, even though, once again, just like in Lebanon, there's supposed to be the ceasefire with Hamas here. And essentially, they're just going to keep saying, well, this is being violated in one way, shape, or form. I was listening to a story in the BBC where they're saying, hey, Hamas sent someone over the yellow line that we marked. And because of that, we struck them, we killed them. A lot of instances or, stories like that are coming out and you're still hearing them, which obviously is very frustrating because, once again, this is supposed to be something that's leading to peace. But it just seems like it's a bit of a standstill and you still have just this war. It's just not as covered. It's just not as focused on. But it's still very relevant. It's still very real. So I want to keep talking about it. I want to keep highlighting it to the best of my ability. So wanted to cover those 2 stories. Not that the last story that we have is any lighter, but we are going back to America. Going, well, where I'm at. We're coming home. It's coming home. Anyway, let's see here. This is a bit of a, David update or D4 vid, whatever the fuck, the rapper is. But yeah, let me go ahead and take the last break because we're already at the end of the episode, and then we'll go ahead and close it out. Ooh. Okie dokie, artichoke. All right, I got this story from KTLA 5, LA's very own. Celeste Rivas Hernandez, dismembered body reportedly found partially frozen in David's car. More than 2 months after the body of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was discovered partially dismembered in a vehicle, new details reveal her body was reportedly found partially frozen. On September 8th, the girl's body was found after employees at Hollywood Tow reported a foul odor coming from a Tesla SUV, which had been on the lot for 5 days after it was reported abandoned in the Hollywood Hills. The Tesla, with Texas plates, was registered to David Anthony Burke, 20 years old, a rising R&B musician known as D4 Vid, which we're just going to keep calling him David for the rest of this, by the way, with millions of fans and followers. The report by TMZ said the girl's decomposing body parts, including a head and torso, had been apparently, excuse me, a bit of a sneeze, including a head and torso, had apparently been thawing out inside the front trunk when the grisly discovery was made. So that's a new detail. I did not know that body parts were frozen. I don't really know what to make of that. I don't really have anything to add, but it is, I guess, relevant. So I was like, okay, go ahead and put that on the board. The Tesla was parked on Bluebird Avenue, not far from a Hollywood Hills rental home that Burke was living in before it was towed. Los Angeles Police Department detectives later served a search warrant at the home, where several pieces of evidence were seized. On November 18th, LAPD sources told KTLA that Burke was considered a suspect in Rivas Hernandez's death. So this is my first time, having a source that's actually saying, "Hey, the police are actively, considering him as a suspect," which is crazy that we're just now getting to that now, and we still haven't seen more. I mean, I'm really hoping that the reason for that is, detectives, whatever, law enforcement are doing the best that they can to get a airtight slam dunk case here. Because, I mean, look, in the court of public opinion, this feels like a slam dunk as it is. I don't know. Not to obviously get, fully speculative and, tell a whole story, whatever. That's why I want to read this whole thing, let the story tell itself. But I think a lot of people are surprised that there hasn't been an arrest yet. Maybe that is something you're gearing towards. And like I said, I figured if there wasn't going to be an arrest as of yet, that we'd at least have, law enforcement come out and tell, what's happened here? What's going on? Like, why is this, why is this girl's body parts in a SUV? What's going on here? I don't know. The people want answers. Obviously, the family, of course, family. Let's keep reading. The teen had been missing from Lake Elsinore. Elsinore? We're going to say Elsinore. Since April 2024, when she was just 13. The potential relationship between her and Burke had been a critical part of the investigation, with images that have surfaced online which appear to show the two together. The girl's mother had told investigators she had a boyfriend named David at the time of her disappearance. The two reportedly have matching tattoos on their right index fingers with the letters shh. Friends in Burke's circle also reportedly believed Rivas Hernandez was 19 years old. Following the gruesome discovery, Burke canceled the remainder of his U.S. and European tour dates and shelved an album release. He is allegedly not cooperating with investigators, a police source told People magazine, and has not commented on the investigation or his alleged relationship ties to the teen. Citing law enforcement officials, TMZ reported that detectives are also investigating whether the killer had help dismembering and disposing of the teen's body. Another thing that we are told is that they know now, based on the manner in which Celeste's body was dismembered, that investigators believe it's very likely whoever did that to her had help. TMZ Charles Le Boutieri, that's a saucy little name, told KTLA. The outlet said investigators are looking into a trip that Burke made to a remote area of Santa Barbara County in spring of 2025, in the middle of the night, where he reportedly spent several hours. We know that investigators are looking closely at the journey to Santa Barbara, Le Boutieri said. They believe that it may be connected to whatever ended up happening to Celeste. The teen's body was dismembered the day after her 15th birthday, but the LA County Medical Examiner's Office said her death likely happened weeks earlier. The frozen state of her decomposing body was found in may make it difficult for coroners to establish a cause of death, sources told TMZ. In October, a funeral for Rivas Hernandez was held at Queen of Heaven Cemetery and Mortuary in Roland Heights, as family members were seen carrying the teen's casket to her final resting place. In a statement to the Los Angeles Times, officials with the Lake Elsinore Unified School District, where the teen had attended middle school when she disappeared, said our entire district community is deeply saddened by this loss, and we extend our heartfelt condolences to her family, friends, and all who knew and loved her. So far, no arrests have been made, and any decision to arrest or prosecute will likely be made once an autopsy is released. So I figured I'd just read a whole story on this, kind of catch us all up. Now we're all up to date. We got a few more details here. And we can kind of go from there. Maybe we'll have a bit of an update post-autopsy. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like, we're all simpatico here on who did what. I mean, dude, there's even like, he made a whole song about it. I mean, allegedly, I got my speculation on that, I guess. But like, dude, like, just so odd, so strange. But yeah, I'm, definitely gonna follow this story and see how it unfolds, and I'll keep you posted. But yeah, that's it. That's really all I have for today. It is Sunday, so I don't like to shill. No extra stuff. So yeah. So thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend, and hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye bye. Mwah.